Hello, this is Kylie J.N.S, and I want to cover this topic regarding clairvoyance and, in particular, why do clairvoyants, and particularly myself, ask for a name and date of birth when giving our spiritual readings. Oh, I think there's some playback on. Let me make sure the playback is off. Okay. And so I wanted to cover that because, like, I've had like a client. I want to say it was like last week or or this week. They kind of just was like, "There's what does the date of birth do?" Like it was kind of like, you can't really tell anything if someone just gives you their date of birth, and what that it doesn't really mean anything. And I didn't want to, you know, uh, give go into a diatribe on that particular call, and so it made me think about though, like maybe we should elucidate like on that whole process. Like, why are we asking for like the date of birth of the inquiry that you um are having the reading about, or yourself? Like, why is that the case? And so me as a spiritual intuitive, who has been giving spiritual readings since 2017 off and on, hasn't been consecutive, but I have gotten more into it like on a daily basis. And so I find that this may be obscure as far as like what is the reason behind it, and so I want to just explain a bit about the machinations as to why we would ask for the name and the date of birth. So obviously the name is probably that's more of a formality, like it's an introduction, but the date of birth is actually more important than what you think. It's not just you know um so I guess you guys think, I guess we're channeling the energy based on the that particular date of birth, and then whatever tool that we use. But for me, and I can only speak for me it is much deeper because your date of birth, obviously it carries a unique energy marker regarding your particular numerology as well as your elemental dignitaries. And so, for instance, you may have like a certain life path number. We can calculate that off of your date of birth. Obviously, your zodiac sign, your astrological sign, is also going to speak volumes about what we're getting into before you tell us your actual situation or ask your question. And so, right off the bat, we can get a sense of what's going on. Not only that, when you actually tell us the situation, especially if it's another person involved and we have their date of birth, your date of birth, as well as the actual scenario, and then our divination tools, if we use them, because some people don't need the tools, then we're able to get greater context of the situation, of the question at hand. And so, for instance, like say my birthday is January 22nd, 1992. That's a life path 8. My name's Jenny. That's a 5, right? And so they're automatically, you're dealing with someone with air. You're dealing with someone that is a thinker, possibly analytical. Um, you're dealing with someone with life path 8. That means they may be into management, they may be into technology, and they could possibly be someone that is very ambitious, very in creative in a sense. You're dealing with someone that could probably be into the esoteric study, some type of teacher. Once you get the 22 number, you think, okay, this person likes to build. They like to create things, even if it's just on a mental level. And so that's just an example. Now, let's say somebody is a life path 8. Say they're born April 7th, 1996 or something. That'll be a life path 9. Okay. So that person, that they're open minded. You're dealing with someone that could possibly be into medicine, construction, defense jobs. You're dealing with someone who's very ambitious. They have stamina. They have energy. They're very down to earth. They're usually disciplined. They're usually mature. On the downside, they could be aggressive, stubborn. They can speak harshly, those type of things. So when you give the date of birth, sometimes the calculation has to happen instantaneously in terms of doing it. Like you're asking your questions, and we are already at that point calculating in our heads this energy. Okay, this is an air. We got a earth. We got a 9. We got a 3. We got a 2. This is a that's already been calculated. Then you have your divination tool. Your divination tool also contains numerology, It also contains Kabbalah. It also, I mean, it depends. I'll just say for tarot. I can't speak with the other tools like runes or like seashells. I don't know much about that, I have to say. But for tarot, then you also have the numerology within the cards itself, the pictograms itself, and then the elementary dignities within the cards itself. That all of that, it allows us to channel that energy from your particular question, from your particular situation, as well as your energy marker itself. That is how we connect to the subconscious or prime conscious, however you want to look at it, the collective unconscious, and be able to tag your energy marker through that supercomputer or the quantum field computer. That is how we get there. Now, why am I calling it a computer? It's because it's like it's a little bit. I'm starting to see that there's levels. Like you have this Akashic records, right? But then I'm willing to entertain the idea that there could be a level that is kind of like I won't say a earth record, but a record that's not quite the Akashic records that also has a collective sense of information. And from there, we're able to get access to the subconscious. It's very intriguing because this is metaphysics. So obviously, we start to get into some of the more transcendental or paranormal effects of certain aspects of consciousness and psychological phenomena. We don't have the best explanations for it scientifically, but I know it's something there. I speak with my clients, and sometimes I'm able to actually tap like if it's a question about their spouse or significant other. Sometimes I'm literally able to tap in and repeat phrases that person would say, and it'll be like, "How did you know that?" That's what they say. They literally said that last night, or they literally said that to me. How could you possibly, And so, how I'm able to do that, I'm still trying to understand it. And with me, I have a very analytical mind. So with me, it's like I know I'm not working with like no entities or demons or nothing like that, but I know it has to be some sort of quantum like supercomputer, some sort of because I can feel when I do the calculation. I can feel when I'm hooked up to this universal um, database, and then I'm able to see into that situation. The client will be talking, telling me about their situation, and I'm able to, once I get the calculation, once I look at the pictographs, the actual ideogram from the cards, I'm able to literally tap in. And from there, that's when it's not quantum entanglement. It's not that. That's a way different. That's like steroid type of connecting in. I usually just do that when it comes to interacting with gods. But this is more so like a computer. It's like a record base because the Akashic record, everything we do, everything we think, everything that we process, it goes into like a database of a collective unconscious. It's they people say this Akashic record thing, but I got a feeling it's a bit deeper than that because it seems like the Akashic records this contains like all of your memories, your your life your life record or whatever. I guess that let me actually, as we're doing this, because there's some research on this. It's not like I'm just trying to redo the whole thing. The book called Psychomancy, they talk about how when we talk about clairvoyance, there is a difference between the Akashic records and the earth records. Now they explained it that to tap into the earth record is like a lower level of the Akashic records, and that's how you're able to get clairvoyance. To me, I have to say I wasn't quite convinced, but it was an interesting theory. Like it was dead as interest. It was interesting, and they had some techniques of how to do it and whatnot. And I just was like, okay. Um, but for the Akashic records, this is supposed to be like this compendium of all universal events, thoughts, words, and emotions, and intent to have ever occurred, whether that be in the past, the present, or the future. And this applies to all entities and life forms, not just humans. And this is supposed to be like this universal database. That's why I say it's like a computer. But it seems like this may be planetary. This could be either universal in terms of certain solar systems. I don't know. I feel like there's multiple databases, like a server. And I think the Akashic records just get a blanket statement as if, you know, there's this big hoopla of galactic universal thought forms of everything that ever exists, past, present, or future. And I got a feeling that that's not quite how it works. That's a part of it, but I'm thinking that there's like servers. You know how you have like private servers and uh, shared servers, and you have these, let me just show a picture, perhaps. Server. And that way, the way I'm seated in my head is the way I could possibly show an image of it. Okay. Yes, I found something that kind of looks like what I want to say. Um, which one do I want to share? I guess we can. I'll share the screen, and then we will just go from there. Let's see, computer server. Okay. So as you can see, here are some computer servers, and so this is what I see this Akashic records as. Okay, where it's different. It's not just this one big hoopla. These are files, and these servers, they contain this information in this database. Okay, and so that's how I see it. But again, this is universal and spiritual. Remember, everything is energy. So I'm just giving you an example. I'm just researching something real quick. We'll get back into the crux of, I'm very deep. You're gonna get something deep. So we go in it. So bear with me. So the computer server, that provides a service to another computer program and its user. Okay, also known as the client. So it's a data center. Okay, and this architecture is called the client server model. This is how I see the universe. I see it a little bit. It's in addition to a server. Again, this is not the best explanation for how for as far as server, but we have transducer, server, and then we have radio waves, electromagnetism, and all the good stuff, resonance, and all that. I say when we come down, when we get to like more of the 3D, the 4D, 5D level, that's when you start to get like more of this server energy, more of this transducer server type stuff with the radio waves, that type of thing. As you go higher, and that's what I think the Akashic records are. I think that's a bit higher. That's when, like, say, like maybe 60, 70, 80, 90, 10, that type of thing. That's when the energy is more fluid. It's less dense, and you don't have to do much in terms of getting the files or getting the records. And so, when the book Psychomancy came out, for you guys, it's just called Psychic Psychomancy. Cyclomancy. I'm sorry. It teaches how to like activate like all aspects of the human brain, your autoconscious, your prime conscious. It how it pretty much, we only use about 10% of our brain power. And so what that book asserts is that it allows like master teachers to get like much deeper into understanding their photons, their infrared rays, how to command aspects of their mind, their body. For instance, how to make pain go away. How to. Unfortunately, I don't do this, but because I'm not even gonna hold you. I am evolved past worrying about what other people do or what other people. The book teaches how to like control and dominate other people's mind thoughts and stuff like that, and also kind of talks about how to protect against that. But I didn't read that book for that, but it talks about that. So it's an interesting book. And so they talked about the Earth records and the difference between that and the Akashic. And um, this is what I would have liked for them to talk more about. I think that they did a poor job on the section about clairvoyance, and uh, if they were going to explain like how the Earth record is different from the Akashic, this is what I would have liked to see, something like that, something like this. What you see? Did I share? Oh, I wanted to share this. Something alluding to how the Earth records is more like a server, a computer program. client server model, like a simulation. And so you have typical servers are database servers, file servers, mail servers, print servers, web servers, game servers, and application servers. And so for those who don't have that awareness yet that the universe and that this current 3D, the 4D, 5D, 60, whatever, wherever you're at, is like a holographic computer simulation. I hope that's not your first. This is not your first time hearing that. Um, if it is, that's okay. But that's pretty much how, and I'll take the slack for it. I know I'm early on them. They notice, but they not coming out and telling the public pretty much. But like, yes, we are like in a holographic simulated uh, computer program that we can program. It is also transducer like. It's a transducer supercomputer. That's how the universe works. This does not mean that your individual, for those who have still like dealing with like religion, um, or even spirituality, because I'm very spiritual. This does not take away from your beliefs at all. Everything that I'm saying aligns with most of the mainstream religious teachings in terms of their mystic forms of their teachings, not the surface level stuff. But once you go into the deeper concepts of the universe, its construction, uh, since time millennia, with me having a background, having a master's degree from a scholarly level in religious studies and studying um, pretty much every system you could think of, and sometimes even practicing them, I can emphatically say that most of the your mainstream religions and even your occult sciences as well as your mystery sciences um, pretty much state that yes, they are very much aware that this is a holographic, uh, holographic simulated transducer supercomputer. As far as the universe, it works just like the internet. There is no difference. Um, and so most of your texts allude to that. Now, sometimes the information has been hidden, sometimes it's not. So you can pick up a Rig Veda, you can pick up, they talk about this even in Ifa. Obviously, you study the work of the Dogon tribe, you study um, obviously the Gnostic texts of Christianity. If you get your hands on any of this the material, it does speak to us living in illusory, um, whether they call it Maya, whether they call it um, the Dharma urge, whether they call it, you know, uh, what's it, Atman and Brahman, whatever they want to say, however they want to call it. It is a illusory transducer supercomputer. The beautiful thing about that is we as humans can program that. Also, the beautiful thing about that is that's how we are aware. That's how you are able to time travel. That's how you're able to travel in the past. That's how you're able to astral project. That's how you're able to remote view. That's how you're able to um, obviously develop clairvoyance. That's how you're able to see things that will happen based on certain phenomenon based, or that's how you're able to read into another person's subconscious mind. Even so much to the point where you can pick up sayings and quotes that they'll say. I have done this. There are times when sometimes you can get you can be off in terms of like you'll get information from to a person that's talking about like say their spouse or something, and you're looking into the record and you may got their role switch, like you may have the occupation, you may know the occupations of them, but then you may get it confused and say that oh, is someone in the military or someone a doctor, and then or I see that you're a doctor, and they're like, no, my husband's a doctor and I'm in the military, stuff like that. Sometimes you may get the code a little muddled, and so that's why I do like to use the divination tool, because without it, for me personally, and I just go looking into the quantum transducer supercomputer of this universe, that's when the information just kind of gets cluttered. And I'll have events down packed to a T. Like I'm able to see pretty clearly, but just a small detail of, oh, someone like for instance, if there's just two people and it's like, okay, I see that this person is I see that somebody's cheating, and is it you or is it that you may have that aspect mixed up, and they'll be like, well, I'm the person that's cheating. It's not I'm the one that's doing the cheating. And you'd be like, oh, okay. somebody, I know somebody's cheating, you know? And so that's why with the pictogram tarot, with the as the pictogram, when you see the you'll see the gender of who's doing the cheating. And so that helps you. You'll see like, okay, it's a female. So that means it's you doing it if it's a female client. Or if it's the male, you'll see like, say like a king of pentacles next to a seven of swords. That means most likely that the male is the one doing the cheating. He's the one stepping out. He's the one being cunning and deceitful. Now, if you see the female next to that, or even if it's the female, like say a queen, king, the nine of pentacles, you know, and you see a three of, what is it, three of cups and a seven of swords, then you know she's the one that's cheating. And so that's why I do like the divination tool, because it helps me channel more accuracy in terms of the actual individuals. Because if I'm just out looking at the records themselves, then the details may get muddled between the two people that are asking about their situation. And once you have the elementary dignitaries as well as the numerology around your date of birth, and then your specific situation, as well as the cards themselves, the tool, that is when you're kind of like, that's how you start the engine. And then you can pretty much do a proper, accurate reading, you know? And so when we asking for the date of birth, it's because we're most likely calculating whether that's the element. Is it air, fire, earth, or water? What's the number? What's the life path number? Is it an 8? Is it a 6? Is it a 5? You know? And so from there, we're able to put a greater picture together, a more thorough reading based on your unique personality. If you are a life path 3, and so you're going to be most likely into the arts, entertainment, very creative, communicative. Um, you're into music. You most likely into the artsy stuff. May have taken acting, performing arts, something of that nature. You may be melodramatic. You may like the theater. You know, um, let's because I'm doing this off my head, so let me just make sure I got the life path 3 personality correct. 'Cause I believe that's, yeah, yeah. So creative, yes. So I just said communicative, strong communications, it's talent for self-expression. There we go. Yes. And so if you're at life path 3, and say you may be a water sign, okay, so you may be a little more emotional, you may be real melodramatic, and you call me, you tell me that you just got into this big debacle. Let's see, your water sign. What's a water sign? Cancer, right? So you're a Cancer and you're a 3, life path 3. So you're very sensitive. You can be emotional. You like to hide your emotions, act like you're not sensitive. Um, you're a 3, and then you tell me that you're dating someone that comes off cold to you. You got into an argument, and you give me their information. Okay, let's say they are let's see, let's do Aquarius. They're an Aquarius. They don't understand your emotions. Sometimes you feel like they kind of cold or aloof, and then you tell me that they are a life path. Let's say that's a good one. Let's just do 7. I'm just making it up as we go. So now you have someone that's a spiritual analysis. They are lonely. They're a truth seeker. They're a humanitarian. They're curious. Okay, and they deal with progressive resolutions over emotions. So when you tell me that y'all got into an argument about whatever it could be, about the approach to child rearing, they felt that you didn't handle a situation right with your child. They felt that you was too um, that you flew off the handle, because of the emotions. That gives me a greater context as to how to, for one, offer advice because of the energy around it. And I'm also able to help the person asking me the questions understand the perspective of their spouse or person that they're asking about. I'm able to see that and give them clarity as to why they're having that argument. Okay. So they are naturally uh, someone that is going to see things from a more balanced perspective. They're going to look at resolutions that are more analytical and logical over their emotions. So they couldn't understand why you as a Cancer with a life path of 3. I won't say all of that on, but I'm just saying like, oh, they couldn't understand why you were so emotional, because they felt like you should have had a calm head, a cool head. That doesn't mean they were right. It just means that that's how they see the lens of their world. And so what will make that more what can resolve that is if both of you just have a conversation about going forward about how you think should be best to chastise the kid or how to deal with the kid. That's just an example. It could be it's so many scenarios, obviously. And obviously I have to keep my clients business confidential, but you know, I have so many I deal with so many topics, so many topics you wouldn't believe. And so on the fly, we have to calculate based off of those elementary dignitaries, possibly life path number, or just the birth date. Sometimes you'll have you're born on the 11th, you're born on the 22nd, you're born on the 3rd, you're born on the 6th. You know, sometimes um, we're able to get things off of just that as well. And so the date of birth allows for us to, for one, get the element of it, whether it's earth, fire, water, or air, obviously your astrological sign, as well as the numerology around it, whether that be your life path, that could be your dream path, that could be the number of your actual name, and this stuff can be calculated on the fly. And sometimes if you can't calculate it on the fly, what can happen is you can do it auto consciously, depending on how good you are, especially if you see a spread in front of you. The divination tool may have like a bunch of threes that come up: 3 of swords, 3 of wands, 3 of cups. Then maybe a major arcana or something. You're able to, it's 3. So we're dealing with communication. Say there's a bunch of swords around. That means you got some issues with your communication skills, and that there's conflict because you're expressing yourself, yes, but you uh, you don't you're not communicating well at all. Let's say it's by a 9 of swords or a 10 of swords. Well, let's do 9 of swords. That means you have some anxiety issues when you communicate. You may have some anxiety. You worry too much about your communication style, about the words that you say, or you felt like you have some regret about what you said. So that's how I'm able to pick up on that. And then let's say they are a life path. Let's just stick with 7. And so we also know if we see a bunch of threes in the spread itself with let's say a major arcana, temperance, and next to a, like we said, a 9 of swords, that means okay, you need balance. If you got into an argument with somebody and you subconsciously want forgiveness, you subconsciously want temperance and balance to that situation, and you want to transform that toxic situation into one where it's peace. And the reason why y'all struggled in that communication is because life path 7s are known to struggle when it comes to emotions. It feels awkward to you. You get anxiety naturally. And so you have to learn how to healthily express those emotions. Okay. And that is what those are that's just an example of how this happens on the fly. And so it doesn't have to necessarily be a 3. 3 is just communication. We see a bunch of threes. It could be 8. Let's say we see an 8 of wands. Next to 8 of wands, 8 of swords. We see an 8 of wands that we know somebody trying to move. We know somebody trying to relocate, or you moving too fast. You're moving too fast, or you feel rushed, or you could literally be physically moving or relocating. Most of the time, it's a travel. Most of the time, your ass want to get out there. If it's relating to sexual intercourse, you see an 8 of wands. It's like you really want to get it on. um, but let's just to keep it with the swords. Let's just do an 8 of swords, and we see an 8 of wands. We may interpret that as okay. We got 8. Um, you feel like there's some limitations around your ability to move. There's some self-imposed limitations. You feel like there's some psychological entrapment, and so that hinders your communication. um, you are making yourself feel stuck. You're victimizing yourself, and you feel powerless, but you do have all the power. And so, if we see an Eight of Wands, it's like you want to move out of this situation that you're in. Say if it says that they have a question about them being in a relationship, okay, that means you need to get out of that situation, and you are thinking about either moving about out of it, or you actually want to physically relocate, or you have a trip plan. Usually, they it's dead on the money. And let's say that they are, let's see, I'm trying to think, what's a six, let's do six life path. So let's say they numerology and they date of birth come out to a six. They naturally are nurturers. Okay, so they are looked at as caregivers of society. They have a deep sense of compassion. They can either be into teaching, healing, construction, and counseling. So say they life have six, and then they got this Eight of Swords going carrying on, and then they got an Eight of Wands. And so how I would interpret that, I would say your energy is stifled and stuck. There's a self-imposed limitations because you're not able to fully express your full power of who you are naturally. So you're not in a situation where you can express your nurturing side, where it's filled with compassion, where you're able to focus on the natural abilities that you have as a caregiver, as a counselor. Someone around you, or the situation itself, is uh, inhibiting that. It's preventing that rather. And so when we see this Eight of Wands coming, it's like, okay, you got to get out of that situation. You got to move away, or you thinking about moving away from it anyways, or you rushed into a situation. Now, obviously, I would need to see like a whole. If I see the whole spread, I'm able to actually pick out which one that it is. Especially if it's like near a chariot, then we know it could be really. Uh, they just moved. They thinking about moving. They just bought a new car. Like this is certain things you would just know. Okay. Or they feel stuck because they got their car broke down in car trouble, something like that. Usually I'm telling you, it's quite amazing the stuff that you can pick up just from a little pictogram and the numerology around a situation. But that's why you're asked for the date of birth by a clairvoyant when you're getting a reading, especially by me. And sometimes it's good record keeping. But that's how it goes. It's this. Did I share this with you guys? Or let me see. Let me see. Make sure I'm sharing. Yeah, and so this is how the and just imagine this being like astral. Just remember this like being like kind of like an astral plane, a version of the astral plane with these servers. So you have the network, a database, and then I would say, so you see this network, you see this database, and say the the server is the actual records. The notebook and the mobile, that would be like pretty much what the, excuse me, what the spiritual intuitive would be. And that's a cloud server. It's not the best example, but you guys get what I was saying. But I do see this a little bit different than the Akashic records, just like I see quantum entanglement. I see that kind of like as galactic, and I know quantum entanglement can happen outside of a galactic sense, but for me, when it happens to me, it's usually galactic, and it's usually is usually something serious going on. Other than that, I usually don't have to get no quantum entanglement session. It has to be something really serious and dire. But for this level, for the more of the earth based level, to me it feels like a computer, a supercomputer transducer. And let's look up what a transducer is. And so a transducer is kind of like an antenna. Let's go here. So it's an electronic device that converts energy from one form to another. Yeah, there we go. So you have a microphone, you have an amplifier, and a loudspeaker, and yeah, that's definitely how I'm gonna maybe draw a graph on how I see this because again, let's see if they have it. Maybe they already have it. Transducer supercomputer. Titans, gargoyle lens. That's interesting. Your brain is a transducer. Yeah, yes, your brain. Your brain is a transducer. Sure is. Sure is. You see that? It sure is. Now, let me see if they have some images. I don't have a good one. I don't have a good one. See a supercomputer. But you guys saw the Matrix. I mean, you guys should know a little bit of something of this. A little bit of something of this. Let's look at this because I haven't really. Let's look at your brain as a transducer. For about, I'm gonna just read it a little bit. For about as long as we have had anything considered to be a computer, we have compared it to our brain. Since we continue to create such artificial intelligence that is like a human brain, we alternatively have used computers to try to understand our brains. Is it a fair comparison? A computer has a storage, so does a brain. Different computers have different processing speeds. Check our own brains. We always talk about our computer memory, we talk about our human memory. Electrical signals to send information. The brain uses chemicals and computers use electricity. The brain uses electricity too. Okay. There's still some missing transducers, connect planets in the universe. Yeah, and so that's how I see the universe as a transducer supercomputer, holographic and simulated in a sense. Still putting this all together, but I think it's something and they know this. They know good and hell well. Like the physicists, what that kind of annoys me about them with the theoretical physicists and stuff like playing stupid like oh we don't understand how electrons and we don't truly understand the electron particle, we don't truly understand consciousness, or we don't truly, I'm like, let the cat out of the motherfucking bag, stop playing games. I don't know why they want humans like on a kindergarten level of understanding of the universe. That shit is weird to me. Or better yet, just a fundamentalist religious fanatic that don't know one that can't reconcile their spiritual beliefs with the actual machinations of physics. Physics is a very old science. You study the doggone tribe. The doggone they've been talking about this stuff as holy men. The holy men and a lot of the what they call primitive tribes, those are your physicists. They're your greatest physicists. It's usually your holy men because they understand the connections between the spiritual and the physical, and that there's really not a difference. It's more so a dimension of frequency, a dimension of resonance, and so it may get denser. It may appear more physical based, matter based, and then as you get lighter, or not even maybe the word lighter, but as you get maybe a different amplitude or a different wave pattern, you'll uh, become less dense. You may feel more astral. Your electromagnetic field will change based off of its resonance. And so your holy men must understand it. Your mystics, any mystic like myself, we understand these things. And so, I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. Just for anybody that plays it back, I wanted you guys to pretty much understand. Let me stop sharing. Why is it one would ask for the date of birth when you get your reading? Is not just so we can be nosy, or so I don't know. I just wanted to explain a little bit about the machinations behind that. And so if you guys would actually like a reading with me, you can click the links in the comment section, the live chat rather. It's live chat because I'm actually going to go live now. I'll be live on this site, and so you can check me there for like live chat, or if you don't want to do live, maybe you want me to pre-record your reading and just send it to you as a file. You can also book a reading with me on my website. It's not a problem, but I'll be live now. I'm actually about to get off and go live and watch The Matrix Reloaded. I told myself I was supposed to watch The Matrix Reloaded yesterday, and I never got to it, so I'm gonna try to do that tonight. And so you guys can also book a spiritual reading with me on my website, or you can go on the Etsy as well if you feel more comfortable going through like third party. You can also go on Etsy. And so that's what I have for you. I know I told you guys I wanted to cover that Diddy situation. I never got to it. You know, sometimes you be in the mood for it and you realize that's not important anyways. It's not, that's just gossip and distraction or whatnot. So if I don't get to it, I won't feel like guilty about it or anything. I just was wanting to talk some shit about it, to be honest. Um, but yes. Check me out. I'm going to be a lot more active. I'm thinking about doing the actual live video stuff. I don't have like, I was always one of those people that's been stalling on doing the, like, when I say the live video, I'm talking about like camera and stuff, like being actually physical on the YouTube. And I just kind of felt like I don't have the proper equipment. And so I never wanted to just do YouTube without having like proper lighting and a good camera and a good background. And I'm kind of thinking like that's actually stalling it. Like I feel like I'm stalling my growth because um, of these hangups about stupid shit about a camera and all this stuff. So I had figured out like how to position. I had to do some record some like uh, live videos for um, another platform that I plan to be on. And I was just thinking, like, I was really fumbling around with the iPhone camera. And I got an old iPhone. I don't have like updated equipment, and I'm playing around with the lamp trying to get some good lighting. Because I used to actually have a 3-point lighting system when I was in Buffalo. Like I would say in 2017, like I had went all I never did get it. I never did get one of those good cameras though. But I did buy a 3-point lighting system and then also a ring light and stuff. And so I used to study like how to have that 3-point lighting system so where it looks good, the video comes crisp. But I never did get like one of them good ass cameras, and I had always wanted that. And so I just said, you know what? I have the iPhone. I got a lamp. I'll figure it out, because I'm not in Buffalo anymore, and that 3-point lighting system. I think I either because when I moved, I had traveled back to New York. I had traveled to New York City, so I'm thinking I either threw it away or gave it away. I think I think I either threw that shit away or I gave it. I can't remember what I did with it, but I don't have it anymore, nonetheless. And so I said, well, I'm kind of in a migratory state, in a nomadic state where um, I don't feel comfortable in buying like all the big ass 3-point lightings. I have to lug all that stuff around, so I'm not going to do that yet. But so I said, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out a way. I'll figure out a way with this with the camera stuff. But I realized like the algorithm is better when you actually show your face, like when you actually get on camera versus um, the method of just talking. And I noticed that the channels um, that are not growing, and particularly even mines, I think that that's the next step to grow more, is to actually be more interactive, because that's what YouTube is for. You know, it's for entertainment, education. It's to show. It's for that self-expression in all its totality, and so after all these years of learning um, how to get a swing of this thing, I'm thinking I'm like I'm just gonna have to use this little iPhone and call it a day. They don't hold me to it. It's just something that I'm just thinking about because um, I'm going to be doing the video readings, like actual like video recorded readings for my clients and whatnot. And so I'm like, I might as well get past these little hangups that I have of being so shy and camera shy and all that stuff and whatnot. All right, I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Bye.